Hey folks, I'm totally not named Dan, though you can call me that if you want, and I'm back again with my buddy Jotakumon to go over his deck from Teams.
Hey everybody, I'm happy to be back and to introduce a new deck that I built.
Cool, so today we've got your Momo build, right?
Yeah.
Alrighty then, here we go. It's like so many of your decks, you've got way too many threes and twos as far as I'm concerned, and even an awkward one of the Dark Tournament Looms. I do not understand why anyone would run exactly one of this card if they own more copies.
I can explain. I think I can convince you for this particular deck that it makes sense, but only for this deck.
I will hear you out.
We have Ready Shot, and Ready Shot can grab any one diff, so you can grab Dark Tournament Looms. And then to get Ready Shot, we have Tetra Terror Onslaught. So we have like a combination of grabbing one card after the other, and it works out. We don't need Dark Tournament Looms that often, but when we need it, we just go grab the card and get like a throwback from our discard pile.
Okay,
Sorry,
but do you never
from our
want
main
it more than once in a game?
No, actually, I was wondering about that. I used to play like 2 or 3 copies of it, but it felt like fine. It felt like I had to get rid of my momentum, which I want for other stuff. So I only use it like once when I go all out, which tends to be late in the game, so I already have it in my discard pile. Yeah.
Okay, I guess there's a logic there, but I don't like it. I feel like you should at least be running two to guarantee it gets there.
That's reasonable. You can totally run two. The problem is it's a mid block, and I already have so many competing mid block things. It's kind of hard to find space for it, especially since I wanted to play things like
It's
Cerritos,
not a
which
mid
is
block though, is it?
if I want to replace it, it's not, I guess. Yeah, if I want to gamble and get something else.
It's
But
a choose whatever block you have in your momentum block.
yeah, that's true. But they tend to be like throws, so they're going to be like 3 high or 3 mid, which is like fine.
Sure, but what if you hit with an instant shining flash?
I just never hit with it.
Oh, fair
It's
enough.
weird, but I just never hit with instant shining flash.
Your rejuvenating
It makes
splash
sense,
has
right?
EX3. You can push that through.
Better yet, I can make it my second card without blocking twice, so that's cool.
Well, yes, but you've got to have it in momentum for that, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So that would work. Definitely, you can play like a second copy of Drug Moons. In fact, you can just add to it without like changing the deck too much, right?
Because it replaces itself. It doesn't even really push you up a deck size at all. You could just stick
Yeah.
3 more Dark Tournament Looms in here and change nothing else about the deck.
Yeah, it's just the fact that I lose the momentum. Because if I want to replace it, I have to pick up the momentum, right?
True.
And I need my momentum for some other stuff.
True. So there is actually a slight drawback to it in this deck.
Yeah.
But in most decks that run it, there isn't even that. Anyway, I want to
Yeah.
draw attention to that before I zoom back out, because like with the previous deck, this deck goes off the table, or off the
hmm
playmat at least, because we have just one, not even one card, but one copy of one card. Too many for me to
Yeah.
fit on my normal layout. So yeah, thanks for that,
Nice.
Jota.
Nice. I'm happy I put that as a one-off now. Yeah, the thing with Momo is you can fetch things from your discard pile. So it's a bit of like a
Yeah,
tech-heavy deck,
yeah.
which means having like those one-offs is nice, especially since you can only build things that you don't have yet.
Yeah, and it would make absolute sense if this was built as a Momo deck. But
Yeah,
it wasn't, was it? It was Ymir,
it was an Emir deck, yeah.
who has
Back when
no
it was
reason to be running this many ones and twos and threes.
yeah. Though to clarify, when it was an Emir deck, it was more like threes and fours. So it was
Oh,
like a few
okay.
things that I swapped out. Like maybe I ran like, I don't know, 3 Keikos 8s and 3 Fast Friendships, and I swapped 2 of them out for another high block. Like things
Okay,
like
so you
that.
have actually swapped things around since then.
Yeah.
I was not aware of that.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the Ymir version won at locals, I believe.
So did the Momo one. That's why I started playing her.
But yeah, Momo's thing is first form, commit one foundation, choose one non-unique foundation in your discard pile. If there are no copies of that in your stage, build it. So yeah, find all the individual foundations. So yeah, sticking to low numbers does make sense. Although not so much for things like Fast Friendship, because
hmm
Fast Friendship flips.
Yeah, you can argue that. Yeah, absolutely. It was just a matter of finding space because I want to run so many different tech options that it's really hard to find space for it.
Yeah.
Fast Friendship is definitely one of those that I think you can go easily 3 off, just because even building one from the discard pile and being able to play one right afterwards, 2 of them in your stage, is just fantastic. It's part of the reason why I run 4 value targets, except the high value target also has the destruction protection, I guess, which is kind of cool if you go against things like Godzilla.
I still personally think you could get rid of high value target a bit, take it
hmm
down to maybe 3, but quite possibly 2, in
hmm
favor of more fast friendships and maybe more desperate pleas, because both of those flip. And therefore
Yeah,
they're easier to go down a number of copies in.
you can do that, absolutely, yeah. The high value target is there as a 4 off specifically because of the destruction thing. That's really the main reason.
And you've
Because
been
if I
finding
see
that a problem in the meta of you.
I mean, I haven't really played against Godzilla in the end, but that was the concern, yeah. It did help me a
Right.
little bit against one of my Bertolt games I had. That was the only Bertolt game I almost won, outside of the team's one. We'll get to that later. And that was one where I had 3 high value targets out, so I can protect 3 extra foundations, which was really good. was really cool.
Bertolt is an absolute joke when you're playing Woman, but I understand he's more of a problem for slower decks. And a lot of
Yeah.
the meta is actually slower aside from Godzilla.
hmm and a lot of foundations are just like good live stuff, really. Harbor loading, uplifting bond, researching the answer. Yeah, that's like one that
Yeah.
is not as common
I wanted
in
to
live
highlight
game.
this because this is specifically for your character,
Yeah.
and it's specifically something again that cares about distinct copies. You
hmm
need 6 unique foundations in your stage, not with the unique keyword, but just, without anything else sharing a name with them.
Yeah. Singletons is what I call them now. I finally found a word that works well. Singletons. 6 singletons, and then
Yeah, you
you
can
become
call it
a
that.
Highlander.
Highlander is quite popular for if your deck is that.
The only problem with researching the answer is it's a unique, so you can't build it with Momo, which is a bit of a shame. I almost wish they just made it that you can only play that response once per turn and then remove the unique. But I guess they wanted it to be a challenge to get to that 700
When are you going
steps.
to have multiple ready steps? You're
The no,
saying
I
a
mean,
copies of this ability text, aren't you?
yes, that's what I meant. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the weird Yu-Gi-Oh hard once per turn that doesn't really belong in this game.
Yeah, but I feel like for researching the answer, it'd be kind of nice because that unique keyword is just kind of annoying.
I prefer other ways of solving the problem if at all possible, and
We do
so
have
I'm quite glad it doesn't use Yu-Gi-Oh text.
Cancer Creation Strike to build it in. We get rid of
That
a
we do.
tutor,
So it's not like you
and then
can't just build it from anywhere.
yeah, yeah. And to be fair, most of it I got two diffs. Really, I checked,
Yeah.
and I think it's only like 8 or 11 one diffs, something like that, which is not usual for my decks. But because you can build so easily here, I just went with all two diffs.
Yep. We got 3 2 diffs on this row, but if we zoom back out, we'll see 3 3 diffs, and then basically the rest of that row is twos.
Yeah,
You do have quite a lot of twos, but you can build so easily, it doesn't really matter that you have a lot of twos.
yeah, yeah.
And between your ones and zeros, you've still got plenty of easy to play things. It's not a problem for you at all.
Exactly, exactly.
And it
Yeah.
means you've got lots of things to sacrifice for building that in, or building your carbo loading in, or even your uplifting bond to not care about progressive for the turn.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly what to say about this deck. It's just all good life stuff, and it just all synergizes a little bit. There are certain things that come up commonly, things like play a throw on uplifting bond, then play rejuvenate, smash to draw two. But again, that's a
Yeah,
very
so your
classic life thing.
throws, overhead reversal here, which we've got 4 of, and your jammer, which we've got 2 of.
Yeah, that used to be a 4 off when it was Emir, but we went on to play
Yeah,
some kind of concentration strikes.
well, if we're playing more fast friendship, it might be worth playing more of it,
Yeah, absolutely.
but well.
And then we have this is one of my favorite combos. You play Overt Reversal, you uplifting bond, then you
Yep,
permit your carbo loading for +3 damage, you build in a zero diff, you block the zero diff with full on attack mode, which says if this hits it drains. It drains,
yep.
so now it doesn't counter as progressive either, and you ready your carbo loading. So you have a 7 damage throw that also drains, so it's effectively a 9 damage throw if they want to block it, or an 8 damage throw if they don't block it, which I mean fair. That heals you one and doesn't count as progressive, which is so cool. So these kinds of like little things is what makes this deck really work. And the fact you can just fetch them from your discard pile, all the pieces to make these combos is kind of cool.
Yeah, you actually kind of don't want to fetch your Syndicate target or your Pro Hero, though, because those are the cards you want to see in hand to block with.
Yes. And that's why we play the two diff,
Oh, you think of a
which
gift return to pick up your 6 checks? Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
so those are
exactly.
both 6 checks, but Lost in
Yep.
Thought will also pick up the ones that you've built in.
Absolutely, yeah. So these are the two that are used to pick up blocks. Lost in Thought can pick up attacks as well if you build them with Desperately, which is again really cool. All these little synergies going on.
Yep.
And it's just generally a good card, right? It just gets rid of any foundation that you don't want them to have.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really annoying card to face. But then the whole deck is quite annoying to face when you're playing an aggro character who just cannot deal with it.
Yeah, we had a game on stream in
Yeah.
Nationals.
Yeah.
It really showed the strength and weakness. The strength was once I go wide, I keep just going wider and wider, and I have like this 20 card stage, and you can't get through it. The weakness is if you get through it really quickly, it just sort of dies because it needs time to set up.
Yeah, but the thing is, you don't get through it really quickly. The only reason I did was the stars aligned to let me know exactly what was in my deck and play a 6 diff as my 3rd card of the turn, and then remove stuff from card pool and play another attack on top of that,
hmm
which just does not happen in almost any game. I
Yeah,
was
I mean,
very lucky to do as well against you as I did, and very proud that I came out of that with a draw.
yeah, I think you played that right. I think you played everything well. I think you really needed to go aggro. I think what a lot of people did wrong is be scared about me hitting back or something. That's what I felt in my games. And I just don't think you fell for that. You realized, no, let's just go all aggro. He can't kill me in 2 turns. So go all aggro and then build some, and you'll be fine. So I do think you played that right.
Well, the only deck my deck really wants to play defensive against is Bertolt, and even
Interesting.
then, that's only if it doesn't get rid of most of his health on turn 2.
Right. Right. Okay.
Because against Bertolt, the whole thing is wait until he blows stuff up, then backswing, which for a deck
hmm
like mine that uses very few foundations actually makes a lot of sense. For a deck
hmm
like yours that wants to go wide with them and borderline go into deadlock, it really doesn't work.
Right. Yeah. Fair. Then we have one more of my favorite cards, and it's a one-off because, well, I only had one Challenger Series deck I opened. It's the Asset, which now I know is pronounced Cerritos, not Cerritos, as I've been pronouncing it all the time. And I put it in there because I thought we can build this one in this deck. We have ways of building it. We have Desperately, which just builds it if you block with it.
Yep.
We can put it face down with things like Lost in Thought and then unflip it with a card like Falling Hill Strike, which is cool. Or
Yep.
we go white and then we just straight up play it and check a 6 or something stupid like that, which
Yeah,
works
I
as
mean,
well.
it's not hard for you to just straight up play it. I was quite surprised.
Yeah, I was surprised. I'm like, now I'm set up. Now I can do some really stupid things with this. It's a hard to play card, but once it's out there, it's just so much fun. All the things you can do with it.
Yeah, it draws you cards, it fixes your checks, it does everything you would want it to do.
And it gives you knowledge about the bottom card as well, so you can plan your turns ahead if you remember, which I don't, but a smart player could do that.
Very few people do, but and
Yeah,
some people do. There are also some cards from League of Villains which care about the bottom card of your deck specifically.
right. Oh,
So
there
you may
is.
even be able to interact with that, maybe pick up a tax you put on the bottom to not check.
Kuragiri on Void, for instance, right? He has a
Yeah.
card that put something underneath it. I don't remember what it was.
It
But yeah.
depends. I think it puts itself underneath when you block with it and picks up the bottom when you attack with it, but it could be the other way around.
Right. So because of this card and because of Item Box, I'm probably thinking of adding Confident Inventor. I don't think everyone's ever played that card. So just to remind you, Confident Inventor says destroy, remove one foundation, add an asset from your discard pile to your hand.
Hmm.
You know, because you can't add assets from your discard pile, you can't build them with Momo, but you can build that foundation in. Remove the foundation you just committed with Momo to build Confident
Yeah.
Inventor in and just fetch any asset. And because it's destroy, you can repeat it every turn. So you
Yeah,
can
and you
get
do
more
that
assets.
specifically because you don't have air and therefore don't have access to the more obvious zero diff that does it. Is it strategic maneuvers the name of it? It's used in basically
Oh.
every Deku deck.
Yes, of course. I was thinking of foundations. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. It's such a fun card. I really wanted to do the Desperate Plea thing. I also have an overhaul deck which does similar things because you can also just build it from hand and then unflip it. That's the reason why it's in there. It's more of a meme, but it turned out to be actually pretty good. So I'm considering putting a second copy of it in there and playing the card as well. That fetches me an asset. But again, space is an issue here. But with card loading rotating, maybe that's the move.
Yeah, it's going to hurt to lose your damage, but at the same time, you can just chip people away over time. It's not going to cost you everything.
Yeah. Cerritos, just fun.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, there's not many cards here that are rotating out. I think it's card loading, high value target, that one hurts. Full attack mode, which I like a lot, so that one also hurts.
And yeah, you lose your overhead reversal. You would lose your instant shining flash, but you can see I've specifically picked up the new version of it because it was reprinted in Girl Power, and that means it stays legal till Girl Power rotates.
Yeah. The sad part is, this is also the combo, right? Overhead reversal, carbo loading, full on attack mode. I lose the combo, and that kind of sucks. But there's all the cool stuff, so.
Yeah, I mean, just because you're losing that doesn't mean you're losing everything. It doesn't mean you're even losing close to everything.
Yeah, there's just so much there.
Yeah.
So I had like, I think 10 or 15 decks built with Momo, all 3 symbols, all different things, Spotlight standard.
You say
And
all 3 symbols. I know full well you also had a fire one for the misprint.
Brew, all symbols, correct. But I ended up not really building any of them except one Spotlight deck. And I just decided to pick my Emir deck, which was really good, but kind of boring because it was just so quick. Swap the characters, and I realized, this kind of works. So I first then swapped 10 cards in and out just to make it more Momo, things like research and the answer, and then over time just swapped a few more things to get more of these singletons out, and that's how this deck came to be. And you'll see that some of that entity is kept in the side deck, which I
Wow.
guess we'll get to later.
I didn't bring the side deck because, frankly, it wasn't relevant to our team's games. The
That's
only
fair, yeah.
time it came up was when we were in Top Cuts, and we did not win that match.
Yes. So the
But
thing
at
about
the
Momo
same
is,
time, swapping into Ymir did do you good there.
yes, because my worst games were in the end just I told I can't build because he destroys everything. I can't go quick. I just couldn't win. There was one game I almost stole, but that's because he built one foundation, so it doesn't count.
I mean, it
Two
kind
of
of
my
counts that you still didn't win that.
Yeah, I guess so. During teams, I put an Emir in my side deck. I still lost against the one Bertolt I'd have, but then when we went into best of 3, so I could swap into Emir, that game I just won easily. So when you're
So,
going against aggro characters that can beat you up, just swap into Emir. This is pretty much an Emir deck with like a few changes. and it kind of works.
So, what cards have we not gone over yet? We vaguely mentioned Keiko's Aid, self-explanatory, just you block a thing, rivals next attack's more difficult.
And I can have a Keiko's Aid every turn.
Yeah.
Every turn. So every
You
turn
can
you're
just
going to have
always
to,
build one, yep.
yeah, which is rough for the opponent.
Shameless Haggler, you filter one card, gain 2 health, and your rival gets a maybe.
Yeah. So that's a remainder from the Emir deck, where I think it's really good, right? You cycle
Yeah.
for more decks,
Oh
gain
yeah,
more
it's absolutely
health.
stupid in Ymir.
Yeah.
And people would be crazy to actually go through with the... Well, I say that. They wouldn't quite be crazy to go through with the draw 1, gain 2 health, because it can sometimes stop you gaining health in other ways by putting you to
Right.
max, but that's the only reason you should ever take that against Ymir.
Correct. But
Against
then it also
Momo,
sets up Rejuvenating Smash, I just wanted to mention. So you do get the momentum from it, which is cool.
what Shameless Haggler does.
Yeah, you just got a card, so your Rejuvenating Smash gives you
Oh,
momentum.
right. Yeah, it sets up that part of it. I keep forgetting Rejuvenating Smash even has that part because it's not what's relevant about it.
Yep, people forget that a lot. That's why they kept playing things like Botan's coaching. I'm like, cool, thanks for the momentum.
I mean, I read cards, so I don't do stupid things like that, but I don't think about it when it's not on the field. As far as I'm concerned, this is a blank attack that just gains you health,
And
draws
draws
you
me cards.
cards.
Yeah, that's how I use it too.
Maybe if you really
Stuff like
need it,
that.
it has EX3. But yeah, the fact that you can use that and then make it instantly a 7 speed is quite ridiculous. And that's not even your best use of momentum.
Correct, yeah.
The best use of momentum is Last Second Rescue, which frankly needs banning. At the very least, it needs errata, but realistically, it should be banned.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really errata cards like this, do we?
No, they only really errata characters.
Mhm.
It's response flip, spend more momentum. After you take damage, gain X health. X equals the damage taken. So it's Side Hole from Legacy, which was a busted card then. So why do they think putting that on a foundation was okay?
It's funny because it gets destroyed, so Immortal Shapeshifter
Yeah.
heals even more.
Yeah, if X is greater than 5, it destroys itself, which is even crazier because, yeah, okay, you could trigger Immortal Shapeshift to gain a health. Nobody really cares. The difference
Yeah.
between 20 and 21 is nothing.
Mhm.
But the fact that it's in your discard pile now and you can pick it back up with character means you can do that every goddamn turn, especially if you have throws.
Yeah, exactly.
The only
Yeah.
character who can use this better than you is Recovery Girl, who gets to do this on every single attack because she takes damage, builds it, discards momentum, sacrifices it, gains all the health back, does it again on the next attack.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
And yeah, it's an absolutely oppressive, busted combo in her. In Momo, it's still kind of ridiculously good. It still says no to entire archetypes of deck.
Yeah. If you try to do like the whole one big attack, you better be prepared to kill on that attack specifically. But even then, with things like Eden Box, I can reset and then heal back. And then I had Titan Injection in my side deck as well, so if I notice that you want to do one big attack and I have 2 momentum, Titan Injection, which is like Airy, put it back to 1 health and then heal back everything. So
Yep.
it's a great card. It's a really good card. The fact that it doesn't remove is weird. I think we've talked about it multiple times, but
Yeah, it needs to go. It would be a lot better if it was sacrifice rather than flip, and then it removes from discard pile if X is 5 or greater.
yeah, I can see that.
Then it wouldn't be quite as loopable, though it could still be spammed by Recovery Girl against weaker attacks.
I did
Which-
play against Recovery Girl. They never actually do that on weaker attacks. I didn't really get why. Maybe just because they wait for big attacks, but
Yeah, pretty much. And because they just have all the constant healing off things like Immortal Shapeshifter themselves. So they don't really need to heal up like that, anything but the big ones.
right, yeah. Yeah, that was a draw I got against Recovery Girl. I did have like a window and I almost won, but like I was 2 or 3 damage off, which means I couldn't kill her because if I do it, that foundation comes in and I heal back up. So
Yeah, I've beaten a Recovery Girl with my Ghidorah deck, but I also lost to a Recovery Girl with my Ghidorah deck. It is a really rough matchup, regardless of who you're playing.
yeah.
Hey folks, Not Down in the Future here, and as I was editing this video, a brand new ban and errata list came out that hits not Last Second Rescue, despite us spending 3 to 4 minutes talking about how busted that card was, but instead Immortal Shapeshifter, the card right next to it on our deck list. We completely overlooked this one because this doesn't give a vast amount of health. I mean, it gives it quite repeatedly, and that's the problem here, but it only gives one at a time, and it's always when you've lost a foundation, usually from your own effect. The justification given here is that basically this plays into things like Ymir herself, False Visage, the attack, and Recuperation Time, the foundation, all of which give plus damage based on number of times you've gained health. And this, of course, lets you gain health a lot of times. I can see where UVS games were coming from with this, but it's just very funny to me that the card that we were absolutely certain was going to get banned was not the one that did. Though, they have also made a slight change to Recovery Girl to stop her abusing that, even though As I understand it, she's no longer legal in Standard, just due to the way rotation works. Anyway, that's enough of that. Back to the video.
I almost milled Recovery Girl out, actually, despite them having such a big deck, because they have such a huge stage. But even then, that game might take over an hour. In an event like that, you don't get there.
It generally does, because Recovery Girl plays a large deck and doesn't mill that fast. Ezu might have been able to do it, Ghidorah definitely couldn't.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Especially Ghidorah also wants to remove itself all the time, so I'm not even sure you would win the mill game.
You can play win the mill game in that matchup, but it doesn't matter. It just doesn't happen fast enough. But
So
yeah,
then we got
Fast Strength
two.
here. It's a fantastic card in Ryukyu because it enables a ridiculous loop, but that's a Ryukyu locked ability. Here it just is blank a card. Remove all its non-keyword abilities.
Yeah, which came out so clutch. Someone played Owen's Final Charge as their last attack, thinking, okay, I'm going to blow up my stage now. But they didn't realize that Fast Strength blanket, so it gets rid of blitzes as well, which is, new keyword. There's not much going around to cancel blitzes. This just has no blitzes for you either. So it won me games.
There's
Once
plenty
I
that
had
can
been.
cancel blitzes. People keep saying there's nothing to cancel them, but there's plenty. The problem is you have to know what the ability is ahead of time and be canceling that specific type of ability. I think there are only two cards that actively cancel blitzes specifically.
Whereas Fast Strength just has no to so many things. It just makes you blank, I guess, which is really cool. And it's not unique. You can build it in.
Yep.
Yeah,
It even
that's the
says
one.
no to responses on flash attacks, for example.
Oh, yeah, true. Well, they would probably play them first, right?
Not if they're responses to dealing damage or being blocked.
Oh, yeah. Correct. Really cool card. So many of these foundations are not unique, and I'm surprised by it. While building this deck, that's what I noticed. That's crazy.
Yeah, Incredible Display not being unique is kind of ridiculous to me. The number of times people have played 2 against Nezu, and I've just been like, oh, the only answer to this is to run you out of momentum.
Yeah.
Because, it's one thing to have one of them stop your Genkai's guidance, and you go evil versus good, or play another Genkai's guidance. It's another for there to still be a second one waiting for the answer.
Yeah, yeah. And then you have its other ability, which just essentially says clear card will draw a card, kind of, right? It picks up back your foundation. Which,
Yeah, I
if you
mean,
have foundation,
it's not draw a card, it's pick back up a card that's probably good for blocking, but terrible if it comes back around to your turn.
yeah, which in our case is exactly that, right? It's the 6 checks, terrible in our hand, but really cool to pick up to block again with a 0 or 1.
I mean, you can always review them if you need. It's not that bad, actually.
It's not terrible, no. It's a bit awkward when you hold the 3-0 diffs or like mid, low, high, and then you keep pulling them back, and you're like, oh, it's my turn now. Damn it, I have to draw cards. But yeah, it's just such a good card.
Yeah, there's a reason this is a big money card.
And so hard to get. It's not even the money, it's just so hard to get. Nobody wants to trade it.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's so hard to get, because it's a My Hero card.
It's a UR. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a UR from My Hero. It's not a rare from Attack on Titan or something stupid.
True.
And let's see, we talked about all of these. Keeping Eri safe, still a terrible card, but because the meta is what it is and stun's still powerful, it's still good, even though it really shouldn't be. And Surprising Skill is just another one of the same, but with a different name.
Yeah. It was 3 keeping area saves, and I swapped the 1 out for Surprising Skill because it's slightly different. And I can build them from discard piles. So it's like, that works.
As much as I hate what it's done to the deck list, it does actually, from a mechanical standpoint, make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's just the block mod, which sucks. Otherwise, I could probably play 2 of these in one keeping area safe.
That's the entire reason I run it at Genkai, is because of that block mod, so...
Fair.
Sucks for you. Doesn't suck for me.
Oh yeah, +4 damage. Or -4 damage. That's really good.
Yeah.
The thing is that one of the cards I hate most is Vast Hybrid Chimera Kraken, and Surprising Skill is just much better into that, because you can re-ready whatever. You can even re-ready something that they haven't even committed, right?
Yep.
Re-ready your Incredible Display.
Yeah, that is a terrible one. I hate it when you do that. The worst is if you have both of those two out, though. Then somebody stuns you, you're keeping Eri safe to get the foundation back, and then you flip that and ready something else. It's actively positive for you at that point.
Yep, I like being stunned. And I can build them from discard pile. I can find both. It's so cool. I love it.
Yep. And you can build them with everything. You can even build them with your overhead reversal.
True. I can't build them with Canister Creation Strike because that forces me to build a difficulty higher.
Oh, yeah. It forces you to build a 1 diff or higher based on what you destroy. Yep. Have you ever considered putting in a... is Ultra Regeneration on symbol?
No, it's not.
Oh, are there any on symbol 4 diffs
I know.
that we could turn Uplifting Bond into?
It's the reason why I thought maybe playing on Earth, because it is on Earth. And there's a lot of Earth here.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah. It's a 6 check as well. If it wasn't live, you could pick it up if you wanted to, just for any reason, which is kind of cool.
Yep. It would fit in here so well, except for the fact that the symbol's wrong.
Also 4 diff, so commit with carbo loading, make a +4 damage, which is also the reason I have Titan Injection. You can build Titan Injection, it's not a unique, so you can actually build it with Momo. Now it's a commit
Why would
for
it be unique when it's a one-of, limited
I don't
card?
know. I don't know, but it's not, and that's relevant because you can build with Momo. You can commit it for +4 damage. You can flip it with the instant shining flash, so you actually have it there. There's
Yeah.
just so much going on
The
here, but
one
it's
I
just
noticed was you put it face down with Lost in Thought during the turn where you need to use it. Hell, during the attack where you need to use it, so it's not even
yeah,
touchable by the opponent ahead of time.
yeah, exactly, yeah. Lost in Thought is such a good card. Is it getting rotated out? No, it's set 4, thank God.
Yeah, we keep that till 2006.
Because with Desperate Play, it's so strong. Like, I have no issue building my attacks now because I'm like, cool, I just build a Lost in Thought and that picks me up my attack. I
Yep.
can now block with attacks and be like, I don't care. I don't lose them.
I mean, Desperate Play is definitely too good as is. But
Yeah,
it's Manly Passionate Guy, but better.
exactly, yeah.
And Manly Passionate Guy was a staple as was.
And had a worse spot mod as well. This
Yeah,
one's
I'm
better.
pretty sure it
Thank
had a
God.
+3, yeah.
That 4 check is not enough.
I think maybe they
Yeah.
thought that because they had 4-check attacks, this was now a bad check. It's not.
It's really not, no. No. Oh, you can build assets with it as well. So you can build your serials. You can build a
Yep.
second Eden box after you committed your first one. If you need a
Oh
second
god,
one.
yeah, and the second one replaces the first, but you've still got one ready, basically.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Sometimes I had that thing where I had Eden box in my hand, turn 1, going second, and I'm like, God damn it, I need to build it, but I kind of want it as a low block. Now I don't care. I build desperately if I have it, and I block with the Eden box. Now it comes up.
Yep.
It's right there. It's so cool.
Yep. And
It-
yeah, that's the deck. This is one of the 2 decks, really, that took us to top 4 in teams. We ended up placing 3rd overall, and when this deck didn't win, it tended not to lose either.
Pretty much, yeah. Lots of fun. I would really recommend if you want to play something like Recovery Girl, don't. I mean, this is not as good as Recovery Girl, but it's way more fun. I stand by it.
Yeah, yeah. Recovery Girl is a real slogfest, and there are some people who like putting the opponents in that slogfest. I kind of like it with Nezu, and it's a similar sort of situation, but at the same time, at the end of a major event where you're 7 rounds deep, you do not still want to be playing Nezu. You do not still want to be playing Recovery Girl. This is
Yeah.
way more interesting, and there are way more interesting decisions, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And this deck can kill. I mean, it's a defensive deck, but it can go aggro. You can have chains. You can
Yeah,
go
yeah. Well, we've
throw,
seen
Rejuvenate Smash.
throw into Rejuvenating Smash on a 5, into a Tetra Terror on a
6, then 5.
yeah, 6 then 5,
But
and
you have
then
to read
every Tetra Terror that hits picks something up, and so you
Yep.
then get to play another Falling Heal or your Jaw Jammer for big damage or whatever.
Or Ready Shot, which then picks up another attack from your momentum because it picks up tournament looms.
Yeah, but
That won me games. That won
I
me
feel
games.
like by the time you're throwing your 6th attack of the turn, you probably don't need to pick up another.
Probably not, no.
Especially
And-
as you can stick just +3 damage on all your throws. So this Jaw Jammer's coming in at 11.
Yeah, definitely. I would say the Ready Shot is probably the biggest flex spot. It was cool. Picking up a 1-diff that you need, picking up Dark Tournament Looms is cool, but there's so many cool high blocks.
Yeah, I
that you
don't
could
think
play
you
instead.
need Ready Shot, but it is a nice
Yeah.
little extra with Dark Tournament Looms, as you say. There
There's
was
better
also
cards.
the discussion of it picking up Genkai's Guidance, but it doesn't do that in Nezu, so I don't care.
Yeah, I can pick up Genkai's Guidance if you're on right symbols. Go for it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Prove to
You can do
everyone
that
just
too.
how busted Genkai's Guidance is.
You can do that in Deku.
You can do a lot in Deku.
Yeah, I know, but now you can do this in Deku as well.
I want to play Deku too, but sadly I can't get the cards in time because there is no way I'm getting hold of 30 plus Duplas.
Right. How many would you need?
I
Yeah,
said
from
30
now on.
plus.
I mean, like, how many do you have? How many?
Oh, I have 5.
Yeah. Oh, okay, now we're not getting there.
No, yeah, not building Deku 2. Yeah, that's more off-topic rambling, I guess, but there you go. Give Momo a go. That's all for us for today. Bye.
Everyone.